Good morning, class. It is Monday, March 16th, and it is our first day of digital learning. And because it is our first day, I decided to have a little guest star with us. Here is Zoe May. So, for your first day of learning, we are going to go through our schedule just like we would if we were at school. So once you've watched the announcements and you've watched our morning meeting video, which is this, you need to do 15 minutes of iReady if that applies to you. Or if you are not normally on iReady, you need to do 15 minutes of MobyMax or 15 minutes of Freckle. Once you've done your 15 minutes for the morning, just like if we were in class doing morning work, you need to do your reading assignment. So if you look at your daily agenda, your reading assignment for today and for tomorrow is to read the history of the Empire State Building and then answer the questions that follow. Those questions are going to be the types of questions that you're going to see on the maps. So it's really important that you take your time with reading and that you're going back into the text to find your answers. Okay, again, that assignment for reading is due tomorrow. So you've got today, Monday, and tomorrow, Tuesday, to do that assignment. Okay, for writing today, you are going to be reading a paired passage. It is letters between two friends. And after you've read the passage, there's a narrative, or both passages, there's a narrative prompt that follows. So it's very similar to the Henry's lesson writing that we did last week. You have, Zoe's done with class. You have all of this week to do your narrative writing. So I would really pace yourself today. I would read your passages and start brainstorming like we did last Monday for what it is you want your narrative piece to be. I would then use maybe Tuesday and Wednesday to kind of start writing your rough draft. Thursday, I would use that as a day to look back at your writing, fix what you need to, do those edits and revisions that we do in class, looking for your punctuation, your spelling, capitalization, looking to see if you did everything on your narrative checklist. And then on Friday, by the end of the day, you need to have your your final draft submitted on Google Classroom. Okay. As you work through your writing this week, I am going to be looking at it and giving you feedback. So some of the things that I'm going to be looking for are the things that are on your narrative checklist. So remember last week we talked a lot about how you need to make sure that your characters are talking back and forth. And the way you do that is with dialogue and quotation marks, okay? So some of us worked on that last week. You need to make sure that you're doing that with your writing this week. So I spotted something outside. Another thing you need to make sure you're doing is that your narrator is kind of telling the story too. You don't want it just to be two people talking back and forth the whole time without the narrator, which is you, developing your story, okay? She's really excited right now. You also want to make sure we talked about a clear beginning, middle, and end. Okay. And like I said, I'm going to be looking through your writing and giving you the feedback that you need to tell you that this is what you're doing really good, or why don't you go back and fix this. But again, you have this entire week for that writing assignment. So really make sure you're pacing yourself with the suggestions I just gave you on what to work on for each day. Moving into math, this week we are going to take our fraction knowledge one step further, and instead of adding and subtracting fractions, which we did last week, we are going to start multiplying fractions by whole numbers. Now, you have not done that before, so it is so important that every single day before you start your problem set, Zoe, before you start your problem set, you stop and you watch the video that I have linked into the daily agenda for each lesson, okay? It is a whiteboard on the screen, and it's me talking you through how to solve different problems, okay? Once you've watched that, then you can start working on your problem set, okay? I've given you a couple problems each day that go along with the problems that I solved in the video. If you have watched the video and you tried the problems and you're still confused, that is when you need to either email me or post a question on Padlet so I can try to work through those problems with you, okay? After math, you would normally have lunch, and we would normally go to recess and specials. So that we can feel like we're still in school, you need to make sure every single day that you are doing whatever your specials rotation is. So Monday is day 5, which would be art. So you need to make sure that you look at what the art assignment is on the daily agenda and complete that as well. And then your final assignment for the day is for social studies. We are just about done with our westward expansion unit. You actually are going to take your test online on Friday. Today's lesson is over the gold rush, which on Thursday with the sub, you guys should have started reading a ReadWorks assignment that kind of introduced you to that. So on the daily agenda, you'll see a link to a gold rush passage and questions that you need to answer. Okay, then at the very end of the day, if you have any questions about any assignment you did, you have a reflection you really want to share or something you thought was really interesting today, that is what the Padlet is for. That's kind of our end of the day reflection spot where anyone that still has questions, comments, concerns can share them with me, and I can make sure that I can answer them for you guys and the rest of the class. Some other notes, since it's the first day that we're doing this, I am going to be available to you through that Padlet that's linked and through my email. Okay, my email is on the daily agenda as well. I will be checking my email. I will be checking that Padlet constantly throughout our school hours today so that if you need any help with your assignments, I can hopefully help you. Okay, but you've got to make sure that you communicate any questions you have so that we can work together on this. All right, if your work for today is done by 9 p.m., because I understand that some of you might be in daycare or you might have some other things going on and you don't get your work done right at 2:30, I will check by 9 p.m. And if your assignments that are due today, which again, check that daily agenda, that will be your best friend. If your assignments are done for today by 9 p.m., you will get 3 dojo points. And that's going to be the case every single day. So quick math, if your assignments are done by the end of the week, you'll get 15 dojo points. What? And then the very last thing, I'm going to do this every single day. So I'll be seeing who's actually watching my awesome home videos. I'm going to do a little thing called Crack the Code. Okay, so today's Crack the Code is actually related to reading. So each day I'm going to have some sort of code, some sort of question for you that you have got to answer and email to me by 9 p.m., just like your work needs to be done by 9 p.m. So today's question, and I'm realizing as I'm holding this up, this is backwards, so congrats if you can read this. What is the difference between first person point of view and third person point of view? Okay, that is your code for today. If you can message me through my email, speterman@jcss.us. It's also on the daily agenda. Again, your best friend. If you can email me your answer by 9 p.m., I'm going to put your name on a piece of paper, and I'm going to put all the pieces of paper into a hat or a bucket for a drawing for when we get back. So when we're finally back together after these 2 long weeks, I will pull several names out of the hat or the bucket, and those names will get some sort of prize. So I'd make sure every day, if you know the answer to Crack the Code, that you are emailing it to me, because if you get your name in every single day, your chances to win are going to be even better. Okay? So let's start getting to work. And like I said, if you need any help with any assignments, I'm sitting right here today. Email, boom, boom, or Padlet. Okay? All right, guys, let's start with our 15 minutes of iReady, Freckle, or Moby Max, and then we'll work through our schedule.